Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing a book trilogy, which is something I never really do. It's the first one I've ever done before. Anyways, the trilogy, I call it the Shadow of the Wind trilogy, and I have two of the books right here. I'm going to put an image of the book that I'm missing on screen, but I've read it on my phone. So the first book in the series is Shadow of the Wind. The second book of the series is called The Angel's Game. And the third book in the series is called The Prisoner of Heaven. So I want to talk to you guys about these books and convince you why you should read this trilogy, because it's fucking awesome. The author of these books is a Spanish author named Carlos Ruiz Zafon. I first read Shadow of the Wind back in high school. Kind of a period in my life where I didn't really give a shit about reading very much. Well, here and there I'd read a book I'd like, and then I'd read some boring-ass book, and I'd just give up on the hobby of reading. But every once in a while, a book like this would come along, and I'd be like, why the hell don't I read all the time? The story is set in Barcelona, Spain, post-Spanish Civil War time. I'm not going to go too much into the story because it's very complicated and I'm going to do a terrible job of explaining it. The two things that I got from the book were that the author had an intense love for the city of Barcelona and made sure to convince you that this is a place you want to go, that this is a beautiful city, and it's somewhere that you should definitely take time out of your lifetime to visit, and also an intense love for reading and growing up with a sort of solace you can find in the hobby of reading. The second book in the series of the Shadow of the Wind trilogy is called The Angel's Game, and it's just as good as Shadow of the Wind. I think this is a good time to mention that all books in this series are a little bit depressing in a way, so kind of be wary of that. They're kind of dark themed and go through some intense topic matters at times, especially this one. The Angel's Game takes place before the events of the Shadow of the Wind, but it's still best that you read Shadow of the Wind first. One thing that it has in common is the kind of theme of obsession, where the main character in the Shadow of the Wind was obsessed with reading, and he distracted himself from the terrible things of his world with the hobby of reading and the obsession he had with reading. Whereas the main character, David, in The Angel's Game, was more consumed by the aspect of writing and hiding away from life and just focusing 100% on his obsession with the writing and trying to disregard the pains he had to deal with in his setting, which was also Barcelona, Spain. Few books have given me such an excellent feel for imagery and put such beautiful pictures in my mind as the books in this trilogy. This one especially. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the last book in the series called The Prisoner of Heaven, which is by far the shortest book in the series, but it's short and sweet. It's very... there's some depressing parts in it, but I would say it's pretty cheerful at times, and you're kind of seeing the characters finally getting a time to shine. I don't know if that's kind of spoiling it, but you'll enjoy it. It has some cool themes in it. Thank you guys so much for watching.